When I got home that night, my wife was serving dinner. I took her hands and told her, I have something to share with you. She continued eating slowly as I thought about what to tell her. I looked at her finally and said, I want a divorce. She did not react angrily, but asked me, why? I sat there not knowing what to answer. She threw the spoon at me and told me, you are not a man. You are not a man. We did not talk again that night. I thought of her. I looked at her. Nothing but disgust. My heart was somewhere else. I was in love with Jane. I took a pen and paper and wrote our divorce agreement. I had a lot of property in this world, and I would leave most of it to her. She could go with the house, I would give her the car, and 30% stake in my company. I presented the agreement to her in the morning. She tore it to pieces and cried and cried and cried. I looked at her. She was the woman with whom I had lived for 10 years. I came back from work that night and found her writing on the table. I was full and well spent, having had a whole day with Jane. I went to bed to sleep, tossed and turned, woke up in the middle of the night. She was still writing. In the morning, she presented her divorce conditions. She wanted none of the things that I had offered her. She told me, remember how you carried me that day we got married, how you lifted me high and took me into the bridal room. That is all I ask for you for the next 1 month, for the sake of our son. Remember, he has exams in 30 days. I do not want us to interrupt him. Well, I thought that was nice, and I went and talked to Jane. She told me, Ase, Chinekewe, she must get that divorce. Apende, asipende. On the first day I carried her, it appeared all so clumsy. But I looked at this woman with whom I'd spent 10 years. She had grown old. There were wrinkles on her face, and her hair was turning gray. Suddenly, I heard my son behind me. There he was. Go, Daddy! Go, Daddy! Go, Daddy! I was ashamed and felt pain in me. The next day, it was a lot easier to carry her. And the third day, too, I carried her to the door from the bedroom. She moved on with Matatu to work as I drove to work. On the fourth day, I felt a sense of intimacy coming in through as I carried her. On the fifth day, I began to get closer and closer to her. One day, I watched her choosing the dress that she was meant to wear. They were all big and baggy. She had grown thin and emaciated over the time. My son came. Daddy, it's time to carry Mommy. The mom called him and held him close. I looked away in shame and embarrassment. When it was time to carry her again, there I was. She wrapped her arms on my neck, and I felt the sense and scent of her blouse. I felt a deep sense of intimacy that I had never experienced before. I told her, I have never felt this intimate before in this marriage. I went to work and knocked at Jane's office. I told her, no more divorce. I'm not divorcing my wife. She asked me, why, honey? Are you fine? Do you have a headache? I told her, no. I realized that I need to carry her all the days of my life till death does us part. She slapped me and slammed the door. I went to the florist and picked some flowers. She asked me, "What name, my good sir, would you like me to write?" I took the pen myself and wrote, "I will carry you all the days of my life, till death do us part." With joy I carried the flowers and went home, and there was my wife in the bedroom, lying in the bed. I called her name, but she couldn't answer. I shook her, but she couldn't answer. I tapped on her, "Wake up," but she couldn't wake up. She was dead. She was dead. My wife was dead. My wife had been suffering cancer all along. I had been too busy with Jen to notice. She had wanted nothing but good for my son, that in case she died, it might be said that I was a good father. It is not about the money in the bank all through people. It is never about the house that you live in or that you buy. It is never about the car or your job, but the desire to seek intimacy with your own. As you search for intimacy, realize that it is the same with God. When you look at Him, nobody will cause you to be intimate with Him. It is a journey that you must take yourself. In whatever the relationship, always be intimate.
Father, I'll let you glimpse into my heart, the very secret part that unfolds with a path well traveled by faith and trust. I invite you in. I'll let you into the very depths of me, so you can see how awkwardly frail and fragile I can be. I give my life to you. I invite you in. I'll let you open the window to my soul, where no one has had a role. Father, into the depths of intimacy, I long for thee, for deeper intimacy. I invite you in. I invite you in to see how vulnerable I can be. Open and honest transparency. See how vulnerable I can be. I invite you in. Transparency. Further into the depths of intimacy. Abba, Father, I invite you